Welcome to the place where your transformation begins, from the inside out. This channel is for those who are tired of surviving and ready to master their lives. You still haven't understood the root of your problem, and it's not for lack of warning. Changing your diet, going to gym, or following the next wellness trend won't work if your mind is still trapped in destructive patterns. All of that is just makeup over an open wound. This channel is for those who are tired of just mentally surviving and want to start taking control of their lives. If you feel like you've already lost too much time being a prisoner to thoughts that sabotage you, then hit subscribe now and turn on the bell. Here, we go straight to the root. No filter, no pity, just truth. Your brain is plastic. It molds. But the question is, molded by what? By complaints? By fears? By the habit of sabotaging yourself every single day without even noticing? The way you think isn't neutral. It creates structures, pathways, automatic responses. And the more you repeat a thought, the less it becomes a choice, and the more it becomes a program. You are being programmed by the things you don't confront. That way of thinking you have, that negative way of seeing yourself, the world, interpreting every situation as a threat or inevitable failure. It's not just part of your personality. It's a system, a code running in silence until you become a prisoner of it. Some people only realize the damage when their body starts screaming. Illnesses, breakdowns, constant fatigue, insomnia, low immunity. It all starts in the mind. Everything. And as long as you keep feeding the same mental patterns, you can forget about real change. You won't live a new life guided by the same old narratives. And don't be fooled. Negative thinking isn't just part of life. It's a daily choice. It's an addiction. And like any addiction, it needs to be fought urgently. You're waiting for something to fall from the sky that you should be building with your thoughts, your words, your decisions. Want results? Then start acting like someone who has already broken free from mental prison. Stop repeating the past as if it were prophecy. You are not the victim of your memories, unless you choose to keep being one. Stop outsourcing your failure. If you're old enough to suffer the consequences of your thoughts, then you're mature enough to change the source of them. You don't need to wait for another trauma, another loss, another cry from your body. The time to flip the switch is now. There are brilliant people living in the shadows, not because they lack talent, but because they can't master their own mind, because believing the worst became automatic. Want out? Start with one bold decision. Share this video with someone else who needs to wake up and comment, "I choose to change my mind starting today." That one small action could be the first step in a reprogramming that changes everything. Your mind determines the quality of the life you tolerate. If you keep accepting defeated thoughts, you'll become a frustrated person, full of excuses, wasting all your potential. But if you truly decide to leave the cycle, if you choose to violently cut off every thought that drags you down, if you find the courage to break old mental habits, then everything changes. Because your future doesn't depend on luck. It depends on how you think today. Have you noticed how your internal dialogue shapes what you believe is possible? That voice that says you're not good enough, that you'll never make it, that you always fail. That voice isn't the truth. It's just the echo of beliefs you once accepted. And what you accept, you live. But what you confront, you transform. Some people have never questioned their thought patterns. They grew up hearing they weren't capable, were conditioned to expect little from life, and now live as if that were their destiny. But it's not. It's a script, a mental script that can and must be rewritten. Stop identifying with what limits you. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past. You are not what others said about you. You are what you choose to feed in your mind. If you want out of this cycle, start now. Click to subscribe if you haven't already, because the transformation you seek begins with renewing your mind. With every video here, you'll be rebuilt from the inside out, until the outside has no choice but to reflect the change. Don't underestimate the power of an intentional thought, because thoughts create feelings. Feelings create actions. Repeated actions shape character, and character shapes destiny. What you silently believe shapes you the most. Speaking positively while thinking negatively won't work. The change needs to happen inside. The hardest battles are won in the dark, because that's where no one sees. But that's where everything begins. And listen closely. Don't wait for motivation. Expect resistance. Expect discomfort. Because changing your mind isn't pleasant. It's necessary. You are carving new paths, opening new connections, building new structures. It takes energy, but it also sets you free. You want a new life? Then get ready to let go of the old one, including your old way of thinking, because you can't live a new chapter with the same mindset that made you drown in the last one. You've already lost too much time. You've already given too much space to thoughts that shrink you. You've already fed too many pains that didn't build you. Now it's time to be intentional, to claim what is rightfully yours, a clear, strong, healthy mind. And if this message is making sense to you, hit that like button now. This isn't just about engagement. It's about declaring through action that you're committed to this shift. You are not what trauma caused. You are what you build from it. And the first brick of that construction is mental. It's invisible, but it's real. More real than any obstacle you're facing outside. Everything you need to move forward is already inside of you, but it must be activated. It must be awakened. And that only happens when you start thinking differently every day, with intention, purpose, and courage. You weren't made just to emotionally survive. You were made to lead. And that authority begins in the mind, in silence, in the thoughts you choose to feed right now. And if you've made it this far, it's because something inside you is ready to start over, to rebuild your story from a root. And that root is your thoughts. So start your day with this declaration. Today I choose to think like someone who is free. Today I choose to believe in possibilities. Today I reject every lie that keeps me captive. Make this a habit. Write it down. Reread it. Say it out loud. Because your mind needs to hear the truth more often than it hears fear. And don't expect perfection. There will be setbacks. There will be hard days, but what you plant daily will eventually become your harvest. You are fertile ground, and thoughts are seeds. So choose wisely what you plant from today on. What you tolerate, you teach to stay. But what you confront, you start to expel. If this message touched you in any way, share it with someone. Spread this truth. And leave a comment. My mind is under reconstruction. Because when you write it, you commit. When you declare it, you activate faith. And when you share it, you spread light. This isn't just a message. It's a calling for you to become the main character in your own story again. And that story begins again in the mind.